Abusia me sama akwa bia Amanyosem dwumadi na guso a wo hwe fa edo ya atentama yesi nkunya na enkomatwetwe enense megu apono so aye hwe ho asem World Bank report or the about Ghana economy or just say the uhia emu and the way ton and yamina credit me for your debt to GDP is 104.6%. Prediction media back 2023-2024 and we still remain within a year 97 and have 101% in on chronoba. Hence a baby 8 me aqua no na yebisa say e de na de ababidu sampempe so send no message in fabra na me kan kama na mpanyufo no mede dwuman yewura ato dazi chochofo penyini citizen ato dazi chochofo penyini edema ye Great Consolidated Popular Party GCPP wo fidemo beni kwaba
yeah
ofu we there we team so authentic power yes
room
modu
onto miss me why ya no boy
the tifuguru to say drone
I no more ye good morning me that's it
afom ye there
ya me na do
kromboko
question the muslim bi se bio ikrom na ye o mampain wa jatum
say
o pain bi ajatum de nyama yeze yin na ye tasi wiaza yeze tampa wiaza yeze nampa
okay
na Sisi, and I think we just need to change the narrative and start whipping up hope, because baby we do unto yansheni ya kofuba starts we take advantage of certain things and get things out of hand. So we need to start preaching hope and to just calm other people down, because minyim sati about weja.
Yeah, stories.
So it is terrible.
Issues, yeah.
Say, see, I'm in our baby da, and I want to just appeal to anybody it will roof under your head today that appreciate God and appreciate everything that you have, because it connect to one more. Sabi, they've lost everything. Then they were in Yibi. Kakana about taste banazimo. Nasi say you don't even have a place to lay your head. Everything is gone. I mean how? Inti
Director monko kasebo original numere news folder no monko hwe mo behu weja visuals ni bi wo ho na nkoma wo kan ye mo ma mansan hwe the situation, because almost some kakra ne say aduane kra for past 3 days no montimi no aduane mo fie no. There have not been any support from NADMO and now even from the assembly. CBA cook rice or cry and family or mono. They don't really have. And now it's like Ghana Water Company or money be damn. Somebody is like yeah they be the Fabiano and your husband or Asharaja. Also the same thing. Also River Densu and so I overflow the boundary. Wall of my penuku 4 pairs or koto ya and prevent it. Contractor be on also BC estate a government land the amount individual developer on so ko buffets negu and also soon na about 500 homes and so in a yiri e dey afa ho oko
government land in
oko new job and so the same thing. Yeah, new job and also about new job and so about 2,686 individuals has been affected because of horse insurance so yiri abuso e de abakromo, and according to omonse wo muka say the last time insurance yiri sa no was 1963 insurance yiri ama abasro chebi the same thing insurance yiri e but that's the state, but mama ye nua Solomon Asante so akwaba solo
eja honto nyamia dom ne mpai bo nyamia dom sene de bia ye no enwumere betra sisi ana ye de nchia sonko ama ye ahwefo na ye nnuanom so ase be mo ama adwumadie no edimu me kan na me pa kire era Ike from Kumasi, Silvanus Ashama, eja usufise Moses from Kasua, Maloney from Takrade, Rocky Sunyani, Agotemevo Johnson from East Legon, and then Eric Sirius from Ho, Kate from Lashibi, Osman Baba Salifu, Ashama, TK, and Richard from Doko Kroma Fram Place.
Okuta data no.
Yachi out say omo anka ye ho enye ye a enye yi e che say ya na e betra akasa na ye koye baby but omo so mo di Abi om say wo trim abache se na amadwumadie no ebi wa ye pleasant ebi wa nye pleasant ba ni nyina ka ho na eden adwuma no edi yes na eba ne sa na me bo abaso me bo abaso so nko pa because said adwuma no the way how ye no beginning the way how be come be 30 minutes wo come wi a na wajegua mesere se fit next week ko no o comfort ko hunto o ba na ukra podua o come
brebi bodua
bodua ko saka ye bonya bodua ni ata
na de pada ka ho
pada de fia e biwa e fia e biwa o come ya na ya se matra se do podua na
o comfort samo
we ya comfort hunto o di brofudi ni ka anya de say o comfort no chi o comfort hunto enu anu na je se wa come ana
because me di hunto no
ehu
eye mpanyimfo di
thank you
the hunto no the originator the hunto no was a great special as a spiritualist.
Thank you.
About cosme bisa me ko voter region
e ko bisa
ana me ko pharmacy sem ko to ado na nipa no bisa me bom di na obisa me say me di hunto no mete ase na me si da bi na twe ma adwen si so me ko fi na me bisa me papa o de wada saa o de wada no o de wada because enyina bam na me sha say me research na me so say
Enti so ma confirm to next week podia de bezi hu obi from Monday to Friday podia yes sir how ba famra na places now cousin so na yire no enye say that far places ni nko even here amasa ga west here ye chi here ga south hono say we ja na o kai de o we ja gba we municipal but ga south no ni na kofi kwe hono na ho nyina na mo bridge ade ya me ya say was it bridge a link two towns that deal but insuone didi this side na concrete no need that edidi asiama now you could see say best 4 days near soon to years ano ebi fi ha akoha o omakoka ebi fi ha ba ha omakoka insuone so nya insuo e ka say yesu mu sesi ana ene insuo so jai to ye
Ghana we have to be careful because where we are heading to very dangerous. Anyway, Mami, take over na yanche yenua eye Godwin so be join e wo ha say na yenua Godwin so eko for a national regional deputy secretary Greater Accra na kane no wo yesen ko for communication na mpanyimfo mo cha saja on say coaches any technical team ni teacher no mo hwe wo betimi abosa position we wo so betimi abosa position we they say yenua no ba bia de nato say won ko no deputy Greater Accra regional secretary officially na we declare intention just wotumi akọ and also ba join ni wa ha na atumi ahwe afei jemhwe videos kakra from weja said the situation is very serious for the past 3 days 4 days enkrofo ensuo to ma from afie aduane mpo muntimi nua bi say sorry dem no moda Roma sorry dem bi the Pentecost ni presbyter sorry da na assembly member na akwaje a chesabusuafo eda ho common food cry de be ma omo no eho e not to talk about mattress but NADMO headquarters ewo Accra hasi what happened during COVID-19 time enuane flow is it because any election year na but you him for ni bimra ejoja
Wei eni die edikan ya Ghana Water Company Limited ebi weja dump na ama ensuo no ayiri timamufo abroso kra na ekopem se enu anwumre ebekọ awieye ewo weja ene ne empotam ni titiri timamufo a ewo teteku White Cross ne ne empotam no nipa be yedum yensa na wo maka nsuo no no wo mutumi eyi wo mo efirimu wa asomdwuem na Ghana National Fire Service Marine Department Adama Ghana Police Service NADMO and Ekabo Mwa Wodi Jumaso Sano na DO1 Kofi Forsen where Deputy National Operation Commander Adama Ghana National Fire Service and what the Echuja Echrese Wama ye woma fam de bia bi amanipa dumiansa nanka woma ka wo mu fiefie mo muntimi MP no watumi ayi wo mo afri ensuo no emu.
Yes, our call mandate to save life and rescue as well. What we are doing here is purely rescuing of people being trapped in their homes by these floods. So far, since morning, you've been collaborating with other security agencies like NADMO, police, 48 engineers, and others to save people from their homes. So far, by my estimate, that is fire service end, we've evacuated almost about 13 people.
Eno echi timamufo muka ensuo no no ene original TV amanobofo edi nkomo sei.
Terrible situation because the whole compound was flooded. Well, only in a room. There was nobody to save us.
Na yeyi amotimi ahwe we eye weja se de hositi na enye eye very serious ade a yente ne se nsuona fo bi a wawu ene de nyankopɔ adwente sa asembone no na mom situation no eye very serious nadmofo monye na monkomo mu bibini na du ekomo ya yenua Godwin Ayaba Mahama try to short can gam or call for Deputy Greater Accra Regional Secretary. Go about.
Yenua. About na dem no ya na
so. The last week na castle be declare.
Yes. And me delay na nka say me declare on Monday no. But that was part of plans no. And a flyer na me dey happy enthusiasm towards the declaration na nka say Monday. But unto since I started say me here politics and this intent no and a consultation no, from Friday, Saturdays, the last hours no, and our days no, has been the toughest, and I won't lie to you.
Why?
As a young boy as I am, I needed to sit in my room and cry, and I was downhearted. The reason in I say all along, no, na said ya me tea for me followers in our name no, na me hear consultation towards communication.
Okay.
But na nye absolute. Nti na the consultation no. But na eno na me ye ho consultation. Nti na obi anso suem ni na ne say ebe go in that direction. To be sure last week obi follow me bi and they make an say all things being equal no. Me declare for communication. Nti there was a caveat there. But this Friday, Saturday, Sunday was the time na me share some key personalities are untimi nko election wa Accra unconsulted one.
Okay.
You get me? So we do omonai aseno and you see respectfully no I'm a young boy and say me timi di oboma won. Na we dey ato her suggestions be bring te be nyama at the end no na so am trauma me say me nko think about it because no politics no at the time I untimi disrespecting mpanyifo bi.
Sure.
Because anama obetu ne ende no ubetime nya ho nsunsu asopa ana asensunsu aso bone. Do you get me? So me ankasa me ko tena ase ye me consultation.
So wo de na nka opese ko communication ba mpanyimfo no hwe wa omo fi se ubetimi aye chochofo.
Sure. And aside and also no they realize say there is no difference. Even if there is difference, it's just a thin difference between communication officer and secretary.
Yeah, because the secretary is also a communication.
Because also a mouthpiece, yes, mouthpiece of the party.
Okay.
Just that secretary, who are administrative responsibilities, and then also there, some of us we still have the expertise at that area, no. Until the major one, I mean, say, oh, so long as I want for me, won't give me entirely from my expertise, which is just a small shift from communication to secretary, then why not?
And you can still do your communication.
And I can still do my communication. Okay. At the end, I say me J if you papa now what they then at the mame no. Me receive a lot of calls from me followers. Ebisa why? But the long and short in answer one, me enjoy my communication I may. Two, me enjoy my TV programs are me baso. Three, there is no difference between communication and secretary because who you see doing general secretary as an example still a communicative party no. And even on put the official spokesperson about certain matters and still now me the communication skills no beba on best officially and then me declare to contest deputy regional secretary for the Greater Accra region. And am I ready? I a crowd will say I'll bring on board everything, my time, my expertise, me everything very committed. And you know the way I am to bear just to rescue Ghanaians from this inept, corrupt, and incompetent MPP come 2024.
Amanyosem, we wish you all the best. And
Thank
remember, whether Oko election, who renew or one renew, you are still part of this show.
Oh, sure.
We don't want a situation whereby oba be deputy regional secretary Charles said the Majumana adults one.
Count me out of that. No, count me out of that. Anyway, count me out of that.
Chef Kobana say, Pa Abusia, em say baby every day the penny is sukwe ja him, but you doing pempen. So my shall say fish solo because you say you dikan is you do dear children you do dikan in ante. Amamu no monsamuna eshe. When you about World Bank report or the ABA, I almost describe and so my rating Ghana's economy as high debt distress. Debt to GDP is now 104.6%. A dear Nadia be do something pensoya a dear dream.
Comfort conto. Dedica. When Bobby and Abaso for the boost take any advice on Wahidi. The only time I can say, Banny say, yeah, the more secretariatship na the secretariat na say and a communication directorate.
Eshe.
You know, say we move from baby ananka oko below no. Ya project in Mama Abasa. Yes, na communication directorate na be share secretariat. I think say a projection be mumuna etimia concentrate so musa na I pray say we followers and so ni delegates so on beti osempa na on betimia amawenya sa high office no na say o can say incompetent ni we there and dem say we can say na wakasa into the no HQ enum me take it down because when you say cause corruption incompetence there na trademark na e wo be efi but enye no tina yeti ya say nto asema obi say na fa World Bank reporting about yes, it's true. World Bank report about World Bank reporting about projections. Oh yes, and to say the end of 2022 be doing now. NASA rating our boy 104.6% GDP gross domestic product of 104.6% now. You do for sir. Ubisa said dintina ya be do. Ebi we dey enye adsem fufura ye ba be cafe na ye be call the name the Genesis e da be fa atwemu afa Exodus ne Lamentations in the account there bi e ade da o clear say sebi e wiase ama benua citizen e kasa earlier no yes o can say yes amampeni age atum obi age atum in fact amama nyina ahokyere e course in fact me no can say crap no UK English are buying crap no they are preparing to go to IMF etino Sebio bisa se ba ne se ne yakodu a sebi ewiase afa na nyina yesikasem eni ye edwedie with other amounts amman so ne niema ehun ato ehun aka let me put it that way ehun aka etin abane sa no ama sebi obi a na emo e kan se ahemfuchiye ebi didi bi echi obi a ne levels owo sebi answer na to enchem ne ba beto ewiase afa na nyina no obi wo ho a na anka ebia omu gusu omu plans ne so mu tweet ya omu akabi enti e wo level bi a ebia eba na inflation na ebia o mine na ogina obi so ho a ebia sana sa ade ne be ka no na ebia na sebio omu akoje bisia bi fresh bi sana sa ade ne ba enti just obi a ne level ade ne hiti ye no e ka no eni bebi ade ne efrofia kakra sana ade ko unya ni nyina pese ye ka se sebio Ghana ye inflation na 33.9%, inflation rate na 33%. Just say obi die wo 14 na. Let's just add into na ye dey akodu 30 na. If baby a na ye gina a se be ade ne be hiti ye. If pempen so if ye sika sam hihye ye every because tama obeka ya tama S&P 4-year rating no. Omo de betu dwa say ye down rating no mo de call CCC plus no. Sai ho no, de ntia ma call gina pillars mi ni so pillars ni ye. Also intensifying financing and then external shocks. Intensifying financing meaning say despite the fact say be atrenche na to ye nyina no enyema so na aban no egusu intensify a project because we kaya within the period here ye kan wasem yi na atrenche na to amama nyina no na nsen ya omampani tu ne to so kwa probo na wako commission na wako na ejuma cause wako inspect ufa your friend is saying ever say Kalio for one solar sika sebi sika bisi bi na die uko your friend is saying upper east your friend is saying issue project about 36.7 euros I feel Netherlands I buy my 12.5 and your friend is a bank NIG so one Netherlands and also my 25 na akano so you could see say despite the fact say ewiase amama nyina kwa ohihie mu no Ghana ye kan wa say be yeso affect ye no na egusu a ye niema ena ye we ochina nsia Sunyani airport ya wiase bio passion air start ye ho edi ho akoneba o say still ohihie no wo ho nanso no yegusu ye say atore chairman to ye yes, now so in the history of this very administration, you record yes, you catch a teacher for say, oh, why you 3 years now, my 3 months paper, and I say, yeah, most are going reapplication. No, you go to a be a delays never payments, but maybe a scan abba, maybe a some can be an SS for no almost allowance, maybe a Maya, a pilot, but one a crap. Just say, I when you hear anything, I was saying, yes, you cry a cry, I didn't mind a boat of mine. It's in the Sabi, Yajitum, on my rating, almost say. Yeah, GDP no by end of 2020, that's December 2022. No. Projection is you do 4.6%. Why are we going to dispute about it? Well, we are almighty. Yeah, colonial master crap or IMF. And I said, as I did now. A Bamum penny for whom say a idea about 2 years almost 2 and
UK may be going to IMF or maybe seeking IMF decision, support, but there's no rating, and I say World Bank or the IMF at the club debt distress.
Not oh yeah, I'm just say Ubia rate at which a canon. Yan Pepper say, young fan say, you see by end of this year, you call 104.8 GDP. Now, across board, Ubia, among Yasama, you know, Sabi, at Renchemia canon, sa level, and also Unyan Sada. Ubia, I have BDBH before I said to Renchemia, but a man, you'll be a cranny. Fiscal strength. Any sanya man, it no, will be a level a pim wono. Send you no bay. And as I tell them, say pim, we are suffering. Again, and now we are woman. Again, and Ecoso. Sabi, you buy your Becaya, you buy in 2017. Now you are my ati, as I say, and now you are reading in America. Now, so we were able in that 2017, just 9 months down the line, from January to 20 September, we are starting roll up a year, 3 SHs. We are starting. One ambulance, one district, one constituency, one ambulance. The whole lot. Me started in Juma. Sikani niyo. Yamayati say yes. Sikani bi niyo. Eti yen sa pedestal so na ni ejina. Say yes. Ya we amana kadumpi. Now so sabi ye buy ya din kakaka ni intensify your projects. And now ya we ya 6 new regions. 6 new regions no. Emu 2 RCCs regional coordinating councils are you ready? Sabi kwa boasade no so ba in a region, yet 2 regions, and you see regional coordinating council, you know the essence, the idea, Buama development, Abasa very regional, yet Asabi, new regions are attending in Penifu, that down in Omonia, Jadibomba, Bayamasu, Sadi Omuti, Sabi, Eddie Babeboa. We you know teach him, send a mecan, and near my would be brave, says a casa, Jadawa, Oma Penny Corditonans, we move on. Every region, be our sites, districts, maybe Omodina Shasia, or Cocosh inspection, maybe Aquine is on record, say. In this Fourth Republic, MPP are buying a ban acquire, getting acquiring to the level I said you other governments now can to that level. We know few are ye war ye ma be digitalization oba self first nanka ebia okwa ye o passport poor. Say me renewal. I was in the house. No, I said obi jam so say we can't tell you. Na me share barely 4 years ago. And I'm here papa my pa near mommy. Your friend is saying, yes, me co-printing at the name, co-printing at the actual data, me fan call office for us. We call them taking me biometrics. And no, I don't know, mommy cheat be. Date in the best no, me call not just a passport. I am ready. And then health insurance. I'm out for send a cananga, I'm out for sorry, I am matching a cocotina health insurance scheme office was some and then just be in your house. Just do your renewal on your phone. Well, Sunday money be a boama sabi nipa. Eti your money ma here aye komu wo ni ma binimu kotina machines adane nyina to etwa eti no ubahu say na sebio eye sika sema ye kan ye asebi ama yedum pepeso ayeduru no se ne S&P for kan we are doing intensifying financing asana sa your friend is external shocks no eba intensifying financing na maka roads we share your friend say interchanges aye show beche bi share a whole lot. Okay. Well, what I want to say is what is going on there? Okay, so nothing I said you two and I'm also but it's not a big deal because to you, hey, you say it's not a big deal. The government is still doing it, but I wouldn't agree with you to say why is it not it's not a big it's not a big deal. Your opponent in 2014-2015 when he made that statement, he said Brana a labor unions no demanded for
a year salary increase, a year services, working conditions improvement, and so he said, at that time, your opponent or your predecessor was also building roads, building schools, building market, doing all of that. But you didn't focus on that. What Kachre say? We should measure the government performance by the economic indicators.
Let me show you. Let me show you the difference. A woman. Difference. A woman is say, "Tama all Kachre."
Mami say we should measure the government performance with the economic indicators. To say a year CD, forest rate, a year exchange rate, a debt level, but we are debt in Aquacodu, a year GDP, after interest rates, and on Cronba. These are the things that in opposition, Mukachre Ghana for say we should measure the government performance based on this one. And with all these indicators, yours seems to be worse than your predecessor. So why do you want to cite Ghana for doing so? Yes, a candidate or but it's not a big deal because at least we are still building roads, we are still paying workers, and we are still building schools.
Ask in that same vein, ask this question, say, Adentina, Sebi, Obi Koduya, the same ABR crop and a plant in a dry season. No, we should do the same thing in a year, friend is a wet season. Do do an idea in a wet season, you know, or say, I don't know, etime, so fine. Now, do do an idea in a dry season, you know, Sebi, one show you crap, I didn't cry as a beshi. Why? Because the premises are different. This time, as we are talking, system like a woman, the entire nation, your friend is a globe, is hit by 2 external shocks. So, apart from the COVID, you know, you can't begin, you can't come to us, you know. S&P for the same IM before crab can say, Russia, Ukraine, they are basically because you can't know into, but some of the yes, it's true COVID. S&P rating and CCC now you call down. Fine, the others yes, external shocks and then 2 internal intensifying financing and then IMF also buy out also by cancer. IMF also say external shocks. And you know the premise here was to say no, it wasn't so. Now no me share video be an answer woman be I think say obey trader or Ashanti region Kumasi market more maybe. I see the way all kasa I see almost sorry amodi your friend is NDC yera mahama time ba be compare yera akufu at the time yera NDC mahama time say come do so ayehu de here che say usoro oba no money we say unu fu ase nyina aye your friend is ekro utu ne utwitwi and now they compare che say what that she wants to say they say at that time no because of doom so na high wo man ni na enema nsisi ye because usoro a onzo traders no betimi akwa shemu ani but omo light in this and man betimi abo man say omo so omo ahian kakra sa niam ni otu na she was comparing the sort of pain in niam touch her omo go through.
Okay.
In fact the basic is during that time there was no external shock.
2 more minutes. External shocks I will come answer me.
Any assembly.
Yeah, 2 more minutes. External time I will come answer me. Shocks I will come answer me. Our neighboring countries, West Africa, you have neighboring countries, and I say ECOWAS, apart from Ghana, which country, and because of the external, the same Russia-Ukraine war and COVID-19, you describe it, and I say rate of economy to a junk status, to a debt distress, to the extent that debt to GDP are exceeding 100%. Why only Ghana and not them?
Me say those countries they compare at the time no that they were rolling up a project like free secondary school for their citizens at that time no.
So we are here because of free SHS.
I wouldn't say that, but it contributed because look, we were doing something that was not existing. The intervention they were look. First I should have added to it say now nursing training allowance was cancelled, teachers training allowance was cancelled in the past regime. Yeah, but we just brought it back. What me I say? Yes, all that we're doing were intensifying financing.
Education is free in Rwanda and many African countries. Education is free, but none of them is facing this. So why
free secondary education? Minka's F cube. Free secondary education. Minka F cube. We see free secondary education. That is what I'm saying. And it's something that's fresh that like started.
So
we are facing challenges. Yeah, by classroom scrap on and so on. Dormitories minimum swarms. So what we were doing was trying to put up structures. Baby, a schools are almost like a dormitory on problem. Double track. Now we're putting up dormitories.
Free SHS from 2017.
Classroom block. Near putting up classroom block. Baby, your friends dormitories near. Baby, dining halls near. Baby, administration block near put up. So all this we know because all the TVET centers. all those time now need name those places as MVT. Quite transformation across. We will see the sort of change in this STEM here can was a science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Most is called abomosu and then Weja here crap. STEM facility. Weja getting to upper computer saga and everything, computer way everything. What's it Weja or no sorry Upan after same yes. It's true. Maybe you've seen the structure, but you don't know. No. And if you like, before we close, I'll make sure they put.
No, I'm talking about secondary school.
Mrs. STEM. STEM. When I was talking, Mrs. STEM. Because me STEM, make a STEM. Accra High STEM.
ASAT. Solo. ASAT. June 7. Was published by Ghana Web. Government has so far spent over 7 billion Ghana cedis on free SHS Yao Educhum. The free SHS, or the free senior high school policy, started in 2017 after the Nana Addo Akufo-Addo government took over power. Or say it's arguably the most popular policy of this government. Sector Minister Yao Educhum says government has so far spent over 7 billion Ghana cedis on policy. So are you trying to tell us, say, that 7 billion Ghana cedis they are spending on free SHS from 2017 basis no. And no nama Ghana, ya bedu pempeso and the economy no, a junk status, highly debt district.
I didn't only mention free SHS. I mentioned maybe boss. I didn't only capitalize on free SHS. What else? I mentioned me the TV class account STEM media account STEM 20 any year way. What me say? Me kasa earlier chere we say Sebio your friend is a new RCC regional coordinating council is in. Emutu enya womo your friend is RCC ayesi amom new register emutu enya RCC regional your council region is not just an office like
you spend close to 1 billion Ghana cedis and at create 6 additional regions and now almost seed money every region 20 million Ghana cedis as seed money and at create here. So if you find yourself in this mess,
they are not the only. They are not only.
So if you find yourself, if you spend 1 billion Ghana cedis to just create to organize a referendum to create additional.
No. Do you want me to give you the list of things that we have done? Do you want me to give you the list of things we have done with money that have been borrowed? If you want me, then just allow me to do the list of things that we have done.
My messages 1, 2, 3 Now, and the message is na a book five. So, but first message from Yenua, Kenneth Kabu, NDC, and the message I was say, ask Godwin why he changed his earlier position as a regional communication officer, and I hope so. I explain it, sir. Now we have 33 unread messages. My yanking can be now fe yan twaso. Who is first? Yenua the other day about say. Was a good evening, brother Sammy. We are in a country where we borrow money to do free SHS. So I'm not surprised to hear that from the World Bank. This MPP government have borrowed a lot of money and have used them as their pocket money. Nanado and MPP as scammers. This is set. Dome Kwabenya and the free Aba. We say I'm a hotel manager from Taifa. For 2 weeks now, nobody has stepped into the hotel premises. How will I get money to pay bills and workers? God is watching. Bad MPP government. At least we have to volunteer ourselves. Your
funds are available now.
Production team tracing number why. We have one. Good evening, sir. Please, how MPP has led Ghanaians' economy to poor government? Watching you live from Sunyani Odumasi Fabio. And we are say, please, sir, do we have governor in our country? Fabio Nebi said, yeah, well, government. We say, Mr. Amonto, please look at the picture of Ken Oforiatta and Bawumia on your screen. While Oforiatta seems to have regretted of mismanaging the economy, Bawumia is not bothered, and he is laughing at Ghanaians for the economic hardship we are facing. It was just a picture. Just a picture out of million pictures Vice President have that you see here. So, Moses Edifrikanda. And then I will say, Salam alaikum. I say, I don't know what is worrying as a Ghanaian because of money. We're destroying our resources we have in this country. Why fire burn Galamsey people? Isa Edifin Sawamzungu no de abre. Good evening, my brother. Was it this MPP government has lost control of Ghana's economy? So we have the men. Where are they now? JM is coming back. Michael Kofi Mensah Edifri of Anko Barrier no de abre. Radio de about say, Mr. Hunter, please, I want this message to go to the presidency. We are military personnel and we have served for at least 5 years in the service, and we qualify to enter into nursing at 37 military nursing school. We have bought the forms, wrote exams, and gone through the interview processes peacefully. Mr. Hunter, this is the typical right to education, and it's backed by law. Now, the big issue is that various military headquarters are making things very difficult, trying to use a non-existent policy to deny us our lifetime opportunity, and we are not happy at all. This is our right, and we don't want to be denied. Honorable Defense Minister Dominic, please, we want you to help us upgrade ourselves. We are really counting on you for this opportunity. And I read this same message. And I say, mon petition the Minister Namokana na yes we use original TV Amanyosem program in Netumiako. But officially mon petition a year defense ministry. Any penyophobia mo free say or more relevant as far as your interest is concerned. Mon petition more send us a copy of your petition and original TV Ignite Media will take it up. We say, Mr. Hunter, you have asked us a petition on this issue, okay, to a minister and send you a copy, and I think that is the best. But there is a problem, Mr. Hunter. If you should come out openly and show our faces, these same senior officers at the military will ending up punishing some of us. That's why we are counting on you to draw the minister's attention. Wow, some more. Yes, I understand you. We see that say Ghana must be sold and share the money to the citizen. God punish these useless leaders we have in Ghana. They intentionally create problems only to amass wealth for themselves. Nanado Baumia, Opon Kroma, and Kenofuriata, God punish you all. We say former President John Ajekum Kufuor and Nanado are best the same figures who flock together. God punish you, both wicked people. We say you see how Nanado's face looks like. That's how this house looks like too. Wicked man. Ghanaians will never forgive your wicked governance. To hell to you and your government. We say good evening, Mr. Hunter. We didn't hear Hunter horse, Mr. Hunter. I say this is what we Ghanaians need, and we have get it. We believe in this government, and this is what we have overcome. If we success the first Manu town on the Abba. When you said Kufuor, when you said that Kufuor is foolish government, people blame. Government is foolish government. People blame you. That's you are insulting the government. This is what we are seeing, and we are all going to suffer over it. Foolish government like MPP government. Hey, I would say. Only thing that pays me most is every morning you see Captain Smart sitting on TV, blaming JM and Jerry John Rawlings, all because of he is not serious and he thinks he is from MPP party, so he can lie anytime he like. Efusa system a new town. What's it, Mr. Hunter? Those economic masters did this time mother Ghana. And they want to break the 8. This is Romeo from Kumasi, Moshizongo no de Aba. Good evening, Hunter. Or say amamre ne amamre yento entwene. Amamre ne amanye yento entwene. Help me recite this national song. Yen ara yasasini. Yen ara yasasini. Ayabode de maye. Moja na yen nanan fiegu de jitu homa yen. Edru mene wonsoso. Se yebeyebi atwaso. Nimdie entraso konto krane ene pesemin kuminya. Edi yembre mu dem. Ama yenasase ho ato se. No de atwaso nti. Oman yi se beye yo, oman yi se nye yo. Eye nsem na ho say omanfo bra na echre ti or there was say I believe this is the song every patriotic Ghanaian should recite and pledge with before stepping out to work. Current leadership is becoming a disgrace to our forefathers. God save Ghana. Ejawusu fisi no there Ejawusu, you're welcome. I say good evening, Mr. Hunter. Our leaders always want to keep us in the dark by lying to us. They always think of credibility of themselves and their party and not the country. They have failed this generation. MPP never again. Abiam, Edifins, Awamna Diaba, Minka Tubinkan. We say the president of our time, the only man that can bring Ghana back to life is Same, is President Same Nkrumah Hunto. Yes, aka the new Gaddafi of our time. You are Same, God bless you. Ike, my vice president in Adiaba, and very soon you take over. Don't worry. Same, I hope Mr. Solo is coming tonight. I'm praying to see Mr. Solo and Mr. Tano one every good day on this show. I don't know how the show will look like. That's every day because they are just like pastors. You know, Solo is a very good man, but I don't like his party. He should join Hunter Movement Party, aka we are for the youth. I'm Ike from Kumasi and the Avreye. Okay, Mesaba Betwaso na Ekoyenim. Godwin, 10 minutes. IMF, World Bank ratings on the ABBA.
I'm Minchia, Washington, and I'm Minchia, Ghana former original TV. And then this phone now more Greater Accra region. I wish all aspirants the best of luck on my share on campaign. I think 22nd and 23rd and on to Aba. May the best ones win. Now yentimi enfan kabum and rescue this country from where MPP government edi en eko. Same before me call on seminar na me ensure o same hunto.
That's it.
So I draw me solo attention to the fact say yes, free SHS ye disika kum. But to chef since the free SHS up to end there, you spend more than 10 billion Ghana cedis here into the investment of free SHS. And I'm a it is how the share Sikadodo are buying in terms of tax revenue, in terms of loans. COVID buy over 30 billion. And just they are self free SHS just like a drop in an ocean. It is sometimes you can't mismanagement. Now on person I did blame Nico chef free SHS because I don't consume everything. Not me very disappointed, but I'm sure I say I'll draw attention to. But now or try to be defended. After all, that's the only work I had. Man is on in job. Two, Sammy, 3-month policy. I mean, near solo can I mean draw solo attention to something. Sammy, and now I mean no say 6 years a MPP are buying a bet na being one so. That policy a shall see if John Mahama a person. It has not been cancelled. Bisa every public sector worker, it has not been cancelled. Let me tell you something. Na policy ni say, for instance, so if training college eba, na those tana yeshe Cape Coast University ase. Inti Cape Coast na mark o final paper we o mema o teacher registration number. It told me be almost a delay. Eba we are processing to controller and accountant general na akwa bro 1 year into accumulation of arrests na a dose. Do you get me? Ntabaye na been so the policy be say Cape Coast University so mo hurry up with the marking and a release of teacher numbers no eba genius soon try say obe fast track the process na controller accountant general so make sure say ombe near so that within 3 months no bia enya ni scale na yetua neka. But because na a new policy and process no definitely yenya some kind of hinges in the whole thing. But 6 years down the lane no gradually no are getting a stabilization. It is an who say ya accumulating a lot of arrests egu aban so. But policy no is still in force.
Why is it that say politician a banner appointed as a minister, deputy minister, their salary will never be in arrears because they are having difficulties with accountant general department, but only teachers who always have this difficulty?
Yeah, it's into him. So I mean, a very legitimate question I will be saying, but at the appropriate time they say, yeah, question our board, so I will deal with it because yentimi fa body and befra another food that ye knew there, but the person me establishing say. That policy now, Mokasa TIM no opposition. Omoba once Bibia, it is still in force.
Okay.
That's the first thing.
All right.
The second one is Sammy Obeche Bilamte interchange. Tema interchange. Pokwasi interchange. Quantum of loan na ye abayana J no. Ye jisasika nina under His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Into kind John Mahama ne Busia oboye nina. Ye de Obeche Bilamte account, which is about $35 million. Pokwasi, which is about 399. Tema, Nini Naka John Mahama Busia Bong. Only that project no, now it was in phases into yesha se ye fee abenwan so. Aban ntua so. Nti ma me example. President Kufuor Koko kwaji Busia say obesi N1. Kufuor didn't even do up to 10%.
No, that was Buidam.
No, even N1.
N1 anyabosia millennium.
Okay, sure.
Mida, yeah.
One shas here and do even 10%. Me see, one year even 10%. Late meals and a complete project no. Until late meals ABA N1 ano. He called President Kufuor on Biano. Same thing to Buidam. President late meals every phase 1. And now former President Mahama be phase 2. You get me? But abanyen tuaso no. Say ube tuaso a, you don't claim credit for it. Nti the American say, dia maya bedu ni na opeso pekere, o kire say, na ye wo problem ni na echi no. Things were still going on. I agree. But sa sika ni na no, na former President John Dramani Mahama agija to wodada. Dia moba ya mobe sha ase ene ye takrade market circle. And ukra endu baby aye. And at Tamale overhead. These are the only projects that
Tamale interchange.
And interchange. And overhead.
Okay.
And I'm overpass. Okay. And interchange. Google the difference between interchange and overpass.
And how many tiers?
Just one.
Okay.
3 team. I was there last month.
Okay.
Because you see in trash or moment in interchange. And interchange. There is difference between interchange and overpass.
Okay.
And look at the legacy. But me go into the substance of the matter. Adia World Bank air canina say Ghana ye dum pempen subia. Bosia ya boni nanu yenti mintia. Nti ye high indebted country. Nti MPP abanya wode yenko HIPIC under former President Kufuor no. The same MPP are buying under President Akufo-Addo. SND yako a West HIPIC status. Because we had the threshold that did declare a country HIPIC a GDP of 70%. Over 70 now yes, describe HIPIC. But because of status of Ghana edunu, they can't declare as HIPIC. But who go by the percentage of GDP, ya brew the HIPIC status. Inti busia na aban ne say aban bi bo a anka eka busia bonko ade anka omman ketwa 18 years betimi ebu Ghana over 30 million Ghanaians omumba 18 years betimi rule Ghana no aban we abe busia to the extent say sika ese omunya edi tua busia no World Bank e ka kire yen say status a yedunu aban ni entimi ntua. And then I mean, you refuse to say Obeka Achero. That is where we have gotten to as a country. John Mahama Efi Abenwan son. Not Ghana yen status na entisao. Not Moko world marketer. Munya Bosia Ebo. And then the economy of John Mahama Jamam. John Mahama Econo, Ojamu Esla, Naska womb. The sometime 10 people before Moka said, John Mahama said, we don't pay. Wari namna manaka dompi aran bisa me hu se Esla na John Mahama jae na sika woman dem dia ko sia wo wa no na eye dompe. Infrastructure Development Fund that John Mahama just ka wo mu no na eye dompe. Stabilization Fund that John Mahama just ka wo ma COVID ba ye. And then the first money a mudu munsako bo mu eyiye about $200 million and amoko yiye. John Mahama ne boss afoto no eto ho. Nso mo betra radio so a na mokoti oso ware nam amanaka dompe ware nam amanaka dompe. Nto NPP aban ebaaye. In their first year budget omudi ebu oman no na that budget was read in 2016 anameboa. Say oya we. Yes. Nti na ye nhihia previous government no eja ato ho. That na make catch obi. First 4 years of MPP. Ubekaya in 2015-2016 na World Bank, IMF. Now mo predicted good economy. Now mo see this economy will grow by I think 8%. Yes, 8%. Because of na
they predicted single digit.
Yes, single digit. Yes. Because of Niema na John Mahama Edigwa Kwemu.
Because of IMF program.
No, I agree with
because
you.
Of IMF
I agree with you.
Okay.
Inti na obe hu say omo ba ye na omo gusu wo IMF program na se no. Na niema ye den ekoyie. Wo fi IMF pe. Eno na ede ya bedu bebi a yedu ni. But all what I'm saying is say kunto John Mahama laid a very good foundation. And aban we ebe city on the foundation and omode around for the past 6 years now. But they'll make it look like John Mahama anyehwe. Omuba ya yema almost second 4 years. They have only spent about 1 year, 6 months. Enumu na ye what they struggle. After 2016, they have only 2020. Almost spending 1 year, about 8 months. Look at the struggle we are in now. First 4 years.
1 year, 9 months.
No problem. First 4 years, young go through this problem. Ube bisa won say, I didn't think the first 4 years, young go through this problem. No, mo second 4 years, you go through this problem. Because first 4 years, na obia build the foundation na to work. Na we see Ghana gas. Nti na sika aye de kra gas efi amanone ba no na eso ati bobro. So that we were keeping those monies in the country. Na John Mahama lay good foundation. Say the American kind IMF no mo bona baso, World Bank e bona baso. Nti omo be rely on John Mahama Foundation for the first 4 years. Now on next 4 years no, omo ntwemu even half year. Omo ntwemu half year. And then World Bank say Ghana economy e junk, e bubu. Fitch say Ghana economy e bubu. S&P rating enye papa. All the highly reputed agencies and now say institutions are rate the world the countries how status in terms of economies econo say Ghana yembo ye homode unto me manusi no question am be say me bisa solo ni say COVID affected Nigeria, affected South Africa, affected la Côte d'Ivoire anameboa nso me no ka say S&P, World Bank, and country say their economy is in junk status. Me know say those same countries are doing well. Almost very strong as against Ghana. In the other. What is the problem? Because me can ba me baby say aden Ghana nko ade ye wo which kind of global problem bet me travel over Nigeria. Better travel over Ivory Coast, better travel over South Africa. That Ghana penna yes offer. And then me bisa solo say, ebani say na this problem also eja Nigeria, eja Ivory Coast, eja South Africa, and a Ghana and Kwana. You see the problem.
Maybe the response is very simple. Ghana is the gateway to Africa. And I just say Ghana hospitality no high, so we welcome everything, including problems. Resi, please kindly ask the president for us that what is he, the president, afraid of that he cannot put a total ban on this evil called Galamsey? Why is African leaders so wicked, selfish, and full of lies? When would they begin to love and care for their continent and their poor innocent citizens? The most wicked people around the president are the party communicators and his appointees. But if the president means business, he should be firing and putting these evil sycophants around him before the law court by now. Evans, Kateno, Edifritamanode Abre, was it tell the politician in this country to stop going to church, because wherever they enter the church and whenever they enter the church and come out, they are only heaping more curses upon themselves and their families. God will soon expose you all. Where are these wicked men of Satan? Duncan Williams, Mensa Witabel, Ohusu Bempa, why are you all quiet in advising this corrupt Nanado? You people are all corrupt even more than him. God will punish you all, men of the devil. We say, good evening, Mr. Hunter. Our country is in a serious problem, but you approach the finance minister right now and see he will pretend as if there is no such agency. It seems that that man has been taxed by whoever knows to him to plunge the nation into ditch. Eben, we say the Frikophobia. Was it please, Sammy, good evening to you and your panelists. Sammy, this evening I know the topic is about the economy, which for me, I won't say anything about it. But Sammy, I cried this evening in the news about the spillage of Weja Dam, Bagri Dam in the north and the Koforidua floodings. That's the government is not doing anything about. Sammy, how long would it take the authority to get lasting solution to this problem? Michael Edifrabdi Kwanodiaba. Sammy, he is going to win, but before that gives him, Sammy, he's going to win, but before that give him my Momo number. I want to do small thing for him. He is going to win if only he will do my Momo tonight. I'm Ike. Ike, that's all I'm trying to TV. I didn't Momo here. No, Ike, we are doing with us, but I want to my youth. Come on, catch say. Sorry, I shall say you scared yes. The people cannot trust us. I'm not even trust it. Anyway, Ghanaians leaders are very wicked and evil. They intentionally create problems to make huge sum of money, if also from government, men of God, judiciary, and all the chiefs. You are all very wicked and evil. You will answer all this one day after your death. We say, Hunter, food stuff is now expensive in this country. Oil 5 kg, rice, oil 5 kg rice, tin of milk, sardine, bag of sachet water, sugar, strawberry, Lipton, beans, etc. So I mean, more people can't afford these shop groceries home like before due to the inflation that has been going up by heart in this country. And for that matter, if NADBO are not to get food for the victim that's being down by the recent flood, then people are going to stay hungry. While they are looking for a solution to feed the victims, the government should do something about the inflation on food as well, because we are dying seriously. We say, God bless Godwin for the decision, for that decision. We did for you. Victory 100% from Great Works. Botiano English, a man from constituency of Fraba. Positive change in Medina. Say President Akufo-Addo, aka King Agokoli, will never admit his symbolic performance as president. He was all over social media and all over the place, blaming President Mahama recklessly, even when goods and services were far less expensive. He promised heaven on earth only to deliver this abysmal performance and still have the audacity to call himself competent. Please vote for George Nash as constituency communication officer Medina. Hey, and this is for them for communication. Ghana's debt is an albatross pain in our governance. Our unsustainable debt level has revealed the more and more deficiencies of living above our means as a country, especially on the part of the current leadership. That is government of MPP. Government of MPP. The government must cut 8 quote according to its material. At this point, it could have been prudent if President Akufo-Addo and the MPP government led the economy in the hands of IMF when they took over power and and governance. But MPP and NDC never again. Ajawusu and Edwe Abre. Please, we find it difficult to hear what the MPP man is saying. He should raise his voice for us. Or is it because he was brought in by Wiki Nanado to come and lie to Ghanaians? That's why his voice is down. So you still have 29 unread messages pending. Okay. GS. We are going and a coy and a word bank and can need almost so a day abadi. Why are we here? A day bit my year more free. I say.
I think when we started discussing IMF, but I think it was when I remember we met here when we were just discussing just before we were going to IMF. Oh, okay.
So because,
anyway, but first of all, Woma Menkade, they both spoke a little bit about teachers. Today is World Teachers Day. So I want to use this opportunity to wish all our teachers well. Wish all our teachers well, because only your teachers are getting to her.
Sure.
Inte Yamishra teacher fina na mo bompe de aben papa mbra or GCPP aben mbra na yehwe teachers ye. Na NDC na MPP ya won hwem ye. De bia was munsi abutal. De bia was munsi abutal. Inte yende ye ba ye bo hwem ye ai. Inte we bompe mam.
Amen.
You know what? On a serious note, Munya Mahama can't say me, and I keep complaining about it. That if we do politics like that, it becomes dangerous for us as a country. There, certain interchanges. Former President Mahama Noje Bosa for it. Into MPP Abanbeno. I mean, they can't take credit for it. You see, those things that we take credit for, it's as if we use political party funding for it. We have Ghana projects. We don't have Mampenyi Kufoni projects. We don't have Mampenyi Mosni projects. Yenyi Mahamani project, ni Yebenya Akufo-Addo ni project. Those things, we need to stop it. We've been doing it to ourselves, and it's not helping us. That is why there are projects for so many years. It's been left in the bush. Because it can mean to what bear in a way project then they can say that that's their project. No. Because in the end, Sabi, Wabatu is getting power. One that will cheer for it. Because one to matter one can see I won't cheer for it. So I think sometimes let's sing songs that will help propel this country. I understand the day when the MPP was in opposition. Bibia were branding it on yet. And then every day Biami hates one day. And my some opposition, okay, and I see some defense and a warrior. And I some man work and I see the word defense today. So we should change a pattern because Ochinabina said by Bema. Masa, on your easy 2024, whoever wins power, our Baba Bem 2025. We will tell Ghanaians that they are in train pay. So sometimes we should learn how to speak now to prepare ourselves for governance. The truth of the matter is, there is hardship. But the problem with the current administration is that they borrow money for consumption. Sikan waja, yedi numja, yedi numenum.
Chibom.
So it's kanun to mungo mayen. In a Yamana was here, the consumption of what they no one suicided or later. So for something like free SHS. You ever start today, you know, person in a ache. It's why you don't do populist things with it. Teachers training allowance and nursing training allowance. That step was a wrong move. Because nurses, said we school, they are more likely to gain jobs.
Wrong move to cancel or to bring it back.
Wrong move to bring it back.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
Be specific.
Because say you're nice and teacher, you are likely there in your school like being a juma.
Because I'm job already.
You go school here, young nursing, na teachers. People struggle before they get jobs, but they are taking loans. They are taking loans. But rather those who are likely to gain jobs, you are giving them allowances, which is free money to chop. So it is not sustainable. That is why you have to invest in the productive sector, not just for consumption. So the nursing training allowance, teachers training allowance, or whatever politics, for me, it is fighting against them. Only thing I see is as allowance na came. Now the same people you were supporting, now they go on the street to demonstrate against you. If you motivate, Mark Modinapco, Marco Monska, Mamo, Bibi the 1 year, those same people are now demonstrating against you because just consumption. And we can invest in areas that will be productive enough. So for me, that is one of the biggest problems. And their own governments, I say the reason why we are here is banking sector cleanup. And
excess energy capacity.
COVID-19. Now, I know what Russia you can work on. But first, the major three was excess power capacity, banking sector cleanup, and COVID-19. Okay, so these three things. Okay, Yamba banking sector cleanup. The reason why I say some of the things that were reckless, that is one of the things that has brought us here, is that banking sector cleanup, how much did we need to really support those banks? No one jina wanado. Na inkayanku yenyu. It was about 9 billion. We rather spent over 23 billion.
Now over 25.
In collapsing all these banks. We created huge unemployment. Still, we are paying for it. So we have introduced a levy for it. So what is prudent about it? What is prudent? Because if we're a better manager, you look at the pros and cons of everything. There is a problem, a big challenge. How do I resolve it? I have two options. Either the more support na waye, and I the more drew in egu. Sika di drew na egu no. Also since sika nka di so no mo ye and koboboa. Most of your population are 1 year human. Sabi what's the one year by day. So we ended up creating more problems than solving the problem. We are a government which have started a drive for industrialization. Fantastic idea. One district, one factory. Fantastic. Brilliant idea. And then you are complaining about excess power capacity. Jesus Christ. A government that is interested in industrialization efforts now turns around to complain about excess power capacity. I don't get it. Because, industrialization driver, one of the key elements is energy. Because in here, all your processes that but if you don't have a reliable energy source, it is problematic. Other countries, because of energy, they are not able to go to the extent that they have to go. Yes or those into on why a kawame here. No, those not why a kawame. Why don't we sell some and get revenue for it? Why do we rather complain about it and then still all boy and complain? So I am not sure when they start talking about the problems. I'm not too sure why they have brought these things to themselves. Now enough of the talking about it. Let's move on to solutions, because I was hoping that my other brother would have preferred some solutions. First of all, I've been some cuts. Budget cuts. 30%. What budget cuts are why? The year before ending. Now we have actually exceeded the expenditure for that we actually stated the first one. Exceed. And anybody can mark it on the wall. The 2023 budget, we realize that we have exceeded the expenditure for 2022.
Write today's date in your diary.
5th October. No, what to just
Edus now remind me.
I'm a catch ready me the mabake.
And to the Tropato do so or remind me, I will get the badge for you.
Hold on. Even though we are saying we are cutting expenditure or we need money, you can find frontier, it's an airport. A country that we know we are riddled with COVID-19, Russia-Ukraine war, and all these issues, external shocks. So we need money. No? We can't even account for how much money frontiers have made at the airport. Are we serious? A country, yes, go. There's a boy bra, mobia, a tomb cushion. No. You're free, you and see maybe a chili. Nay, and shed there, said be worry a paper in your skibby if you want. Emma, a whole ministers, foreign affairs bay, health bay, interior bay, finance bay. Nobody knows who assigned contract with frontiers. And he ain't
the airport company itself don't know who awarded that contract.
I mean, how do we do things like this in this country? I mean, I sometimes don't get it. And also the we want to come and defend some of these things. Okay? If we all don't do name and shame, it's your boy. And I are watching your wolf ya bema. Now I can't I am conference 1 yard. And this is what could be. What's happening? You can what you to be. What kind of opposition worker? You must issue 1 yard. You know 1 boy. You know 1 boy. In the year of elections, or point to point be more 1 boy. Time or be more work at the moment 1 bomb. And MPP both your lessons, they are doing worse off. So look, often too awful. There's a mom from Munyame, Muko oppositioner, also lawyer, assessor who exercise by 12 years. I trouble read
one represent one economy, one ministry.
So then every morning, yeah, why that to know? He's committing himself. Actually, going away to baby of fear we would do hand them. Nina be useless.
Okay.
Because of the mistakes some people are committing.
Okay.
And at least, let's be serious a bit. Now you're there. At least, baby, we can save money to support our economy or sectors. You know. We can do it.
Before
we will be recycling the issues and we will all be at a standstill.
Before I'm a now we have 31 red messages. Before I'm a my member solo 3 minutes. With all this situation we found ourselves in here, DNHS are buying a year, HSA AMPA, the government is cutting it quote according to the size of a year, the kind of problems here, because we are still maintaining teacher trainee, nursing trainee, all these allowances. We have refused to review free SHS to see say whether we are making sense to the budget allocation they cost or a bit man in such a way say maybe those who can pay should pay, those who can pay then government absorb them and it's what is the government doing to show some power, shown commitment?
Commitment, you know, it has come in several forms.
Okay.
Especially this year. Right on from the first quarter cabinet call meeting with PDS, and then your whole communication back up to the finance minister will be communicating some of the measures and passed by and so on say government expenditure
30%, full allocation 50%,
a whole lot of
salary of minister deputy 20%.
Okay, so you know it's good you are echoing it to our viewers. Say a buy actual commitment. Besides that, the external commitments and near to say ABA, the mover, IMF, just to make sure say it shows up, the ever contribute to show up here, and then your friends say other like say African Bank, Sika, buy, you want like all this near ma say be external, and no ye say be baby abetumi aba so mo aboa and o kind report of your friend is World Bank for the omo yi buy ama ye maame IMF director Georgieva Catalina also the he was say IMF no says Ghana will not default in repaying its debt because of its strong track record of servicing its debts. And ban say ye kodeka among Ghana ye was that track record say e kan ye yire so said den krapa ye tua yenye stubborn academy countries na say be or the car omuntu and that you know confidence no wo yi money no omuni say Ghana will not default in repaying its debt of its because of its strong track record of servicing its debt to the fund, and also despite risks to the country's capacity to repay increasing. It however stressed that Ghana needs support from the fund due to the uncertainty about the cause of COVID-19 pandemic any man. It do to me say idea IMF no GDA wo man ni mu nti no say be ade na ye kwa akopere no ye World Bank can say we need about 1.5 billion. But let me say we were looking at say 3 billion. So I think say nyame ya adom, and then the finance minister also abaye beka say omo pese omo ni omo ihie mo no mtumi ekoso wa no say na be ya ebia say ye be ready next budget na nanka.
So we don't have any company state owned in this country or institution that can loan Ghana $1.5 billion.
And we appeal was say if you are buying timi ye the emma team before, but this year I said utie Guta Ghana Union Traders
Traders Union of Traders Association.
Uti come di na omo kire say obi a ho a kire na say na say ho na wo de wani ko hwe a this the cry though e bia
it's not making money
and I say e appeal a ye tie we say etimi ye ma ban say this is what we are also thinking. Why should it be external? Okay, fine, ye hwe external see ye hwe mai. So can we look at elsewhere, maybe companies be no more or mine no more betimi asop and I be a buy agency be an bibi ana what. So it's also a good appeal that we can make. Send a year bisa buy said who bisa said then I buy year no. Now yes also as individuals say team before yes also the adwene or comfort hunto the adwene ba so until no ye nya individual. And also is another dimension to look at.
So when to EVE levy they say levy who send 18 Ghana to require too. So it means
18 do 100. The 80 that you might have done an earlier
no yet obi so no pounds and if me see yet.
Is that so?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Hey. Anyway, me too. Me say who can you? Because me say answer there, but the other day in a year, because me say, I think 30 something more. Not me trace Ghana coca the aka. So I just have to do the 30. Tia team after me say, but that was what I was thinking. 30 something. How should you levy? But let me tell you, early morning me sorry, you know.
Oh, send it.
No, ma send it.
In this
over
case,
100.
before send it, I had to.
Oh,
okay. Godwin.
See. This Pejuasi.
Your solution.
Don't worry, no, that's a solution there. Okay. Don't worry, I'll go there. Pejuasi or Moko, yeah. And then someone would buy. You see, the ama sometimes I buy when you buy a G1 Guinness. Sammy, I buy we back first, Obekaya. There was that same caution from the president say, Omunto new cars. Okay.
Sure.
Ma Omunfa convoy ending the chi. Who used to buy Obekaya.
Sure.
When they are going. Obebi say ecosystem. And we need the first time, or such in Yamaba. Now, what is the impact that we have assessed so far? There is one thing, say, Obaka ko say ska nunti wo Pejuasi lodge. No ma chro ni me gun krata. There is another thing, say, mube di dia mo kan ye no. Eso. Ama e so aba mfa so. But this government cannot be trusted. Two, solutions, fair. Unto waka solutions. Mini abema, what's the name? Citizen. And also Kasana Kozu say me profane solutions. Aban ubetu obi foa. The person must be ready. Say obe admit say tu ni fo na obe fa. Aban we nya aban ye tu wonfo. Because then na yen kan ye. Omo first time you can say cut your number of appointees so omo cut e. Omo an cut e. You catch one say they are going into more of instead of somebody investing in productive sector no they were investing more into consumption into munjai omutie into citizen. I agree with you, but you can also agree with me say you are profiling a lot of solutions to this government. Intersme so obi sane say abayane na esisi na so onye say obeti to that issue say it's not baby a NDC. What is your solution? What is the solution? We have said enough. Akola na so tie futu no nya ready so obeti futu. So what do we do? The last point is that solo citizen, you see, we say let's stop the kind of politics where your way legacy, where your way legacy. I agree. Party be a new order in the bottom scar and they see and a yard be. But the reason why Rebecca say, a young son where you man say, one, you bet the thing. You bet the thing. Ubesusu say, this pokwasi interchange, and a suku dying, and a dear way, the Ahina men fana menye. The fact so bet me a dream waka se minkoye, we you na ye kase we your son we juma, yen ka se wode usika na ye. But it was during your tenure and a buy. But the reason why I make say, citizens obekaya, the other mimia air can say, upon COVID, Ukraine na still omusi obete bilamte interchange. Intermediate sa project ni by maniti asese. That sika ni nye sika omuno moji ye. They came to meet it. So the fact say na mo spend this sika no is not part of your loan. So citizens, I hope you are getting me. Ntina me establishing the point say the fact say na mu ye da niema no na sika ne da ho dada e na mo buy because o hwe machina obete bilamte it was around 35 or 38 million US dollars, which was, I think it was approved in October or November 2016. Pokwasi interchange was about 399. It came in collaboration with Sika Omudisi Railways. Go and check. In terms of Yampos and Ne, MPP forecast a railway from Accra to Eastern region. It is not. Because that's kind of 399 point something US dollars. Do you get me? Into citizen, the other make kind numbers and say. Yes, you were doing it.
But that's interchange is $135 million.
Okay, no, but who converted to, I think, the Ghanaians, you get around what I'm talking about. I agree with citizen, but it was premised on something. Okay. But me, the man who seen, some mean for a few decades we so. Now me solidarizing with Wejafua in Sune Yiriwon. Since a buy. I've only watched on social media, but then me taking the pain, echo close to Baby Adenesi. Baby Adenesi was where I used to teach some 5 years ago. Story building in sooner qua to the extent I mean, say soon upon out here and soon be foul. Oh yeah, a 2 story. Yeah, 1 story. 1 story. So I mean, very serious, very serious. Aside the whole, I can't be constituency for Ashalaja. Don't fast. Barbesi papa say. Yes, indeed. A share ga west and ga south and a bridge nebu. Inti enyade kitwa. The government must wake up because a divided and I say a dinsusuyaba between one district and the other and they won't mean enter. All right. But me for akonya we so na menda me MPS. Wetimi akọ most of the people and the honorable Sofia Karim akọ. Chairman also chairman Isaac Awukuyibo ono so wetimi akọ the constituent for M1 yakopon ko so a emboa ono onto omunsem no mo ko so anya
citizen Faiwe.
So no one to say something. So they can am here am the
Godwin Ekano. What I was trying to say the old car said now your friends and citizens say the now can say
the money was secured.
The money was secured. What I was trying to say in say yeah can a car and yeah can see accumulated a car sebi a buying adi sa cano enye a car sebi a buy MPP a buying another danko a buy or buying a sa cano kwa wabo. But you can see a buying the a car.
So you are not talking about debt. Now
no,
situation in nature. Now more ya kwine.
No, what I want to no, don't misquote yourself. I'm not misquoting. That's what I'm saying. That is what I mean is who can say Juma Abaye Juma continuous there. We should also look at the fact say yes sika se u ye ade na se uko bobisia ni ene ye kase MPP aban edika se ya e kana ye accumulate e ye ka se bi ye sha se fi what me as no that's what I'm because yes ejuma ye continuous it is when the year we no buy so the credit e man there yes it is e kana ye kana ne no se bi John Dramani Mahama ni ka
no hold on a candidate will be able.
Yes.
Or man penny could fall on it.
Thank you.
Or man penny could fall at about 9 something billion. atames
no ye na oja
ebeja ne de mahama ene omampenico atames was 121.2 billion and then yeah kan obi a edimboni ti ne chedi citizens
unto damidi we are in the
somebody ti ne chedi
we have gotten to a point where we need all hands on deck. Sure. And all hands can only be on deck when yimpana or to deck na do.
Yes.
Why you not doing the or pay accept hands on deck? Sure. By the way, the hands in the banner while about watching.
That is the thing.
Banner while about watching. So for me, I think
knowledge.
it has gotten to a point where you need to listen.
Yes.
Be a listening government and don't call others naysayers.
That is why when we say we should look at individual companies, I say yes, it's a welcoming idea.
Yes. So we need to listen.
You accept
and accept the debate. Because you see, as we are saying that we are having challenges as a country, we are talking about $100 million that is being taken into a safe haven.
No. That one it pays me. We didn't tackle.
You understand?
It is not.
So for me,
it is not so. If I hear me ask 1 minute to say, I just sat down to work on it.
No, don't always watch
men tibuku no.
Can't small funny sang.
See, we need to make governance solo. We need to make governance transparent. Yeah, governance transparent. Some of these things, but now everything is opaque. The accountability is not there. Yes. It's by the time the truth comes out,
that is it.
That's kind of
so you people should make governance a bit transparent.
Okay.
For all of us.
I was here for Mumpancha, you have 30 unread messages and a wahai. Kamiyan Kamakani na batene Breno Afaye. Very good evening, Hunter. Please ask Mr. Solomon what is it the rate of the enrollment of the National Health Insurance now? We say yenu sends in a bisa messages in our high. Abusia for remember what this met me. I can come messages in more. Na me de amam cement me and come message na me patch of fashion. But last message we are quote to see Proverbs chapter 26 verse 12. See, do you see a man wise in his own eyes? There is more hope for a fool than for him. Derek Edefrey Takwa NOD Efrey Ade Ababusia Yamfa Jumadi so China Eye Yawada Thursday. Yababa no China Galamsey and also the economy. Dakram. The Department of Bonkaya, William Gordon, Mahama, all call for Deputy Greater Accra Regional Secretary, Samson Suleiman, Santia National Communication Team Member, NPP, and a citizen. Atuda the Church of Openama Great Consolidated Popular Party, GCPP, Namatum Kamidin, this amount. Good night, Yesu Christa Mochina English.